And we're back. Okay, this is going to be a really quick live concerning this quote unquote magic pill or quote unquote magic injection that people are taking in an effort to lose weight. And I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone in the beef sector. If I wanted to say your name at this point, I would. I'm tired of subliminals, so if I want to say your name, then I would. I think it's important for people to check with their health professionals before starting any new regimen concerning their health. I've been in a couple of chats where people are discussing the diabetic medication that's been very helpful, and some people, for better or worse, nobody in the sector really, but on social media in general, they're promoting medication that diabetics need. And in a lot of cases, diabetics can't get this medication because people who need to lose 15 or 20 pounds are turning to this magical injection rather than the good old-fashioned way of watching what you eat and moving more. Yeah, those two ways work. And I'm coming from a place tonight from personal experience as a person who's lost over 100 pounds. Now, I was never a candidate for Dr. Now's show. And I wasn't a candidate for the bariatric surgery because while I was overweight, fat, I wasn't fat enough for approval to get the surgery and have my health insurance pay for it. So I had to do it another way, because at some point when you get tired of taking all of these different kinds of medications that are the only reason why you're on them is because of your weight situation, and you get tired, and I've spoken about this before, of shopping in the plus section. So you decide that you don't want to shop in the plus section, and you decide that you don't like the 1820, the 1X, the 2X, you don't want to wear those anymore. You're tired of the fatigue physically, of all the medication you're having to take due to the weight, the aches and pains that come along with it, just everything in general that comes along with being grossly overweight, as I was. So you just reach a point where enough is enough. And because I have always been incredibly active, and because I know what it feels like to be a certain size, and to get on the scale and say, oh, wow, this is great. That is the biggest reason. Well, maybe it's not the biggest reason. The biggest reason would be health and having terrible genetics. So, personal experience here. My mom was diagnosed with diabetes many, many, many years ago and was taking insulin. And she lost a lot of weight, and she's no longer taking insulin, and she's no longer a diabetic. But at any rate, I am going into different chats and I'm seeing people talk about the magic injection or the magic pill for weight loss. And while these medications are helpful, they're only helpful to the extent that a person has to be willing to change their lifestyle. That's a permanent lifestyle because these types of medications, the O and the W and the M, they work for some people, but there are people, and the media is not really talking about this a whole lot, who see no results from this, and they do everything right, including increasing um, movement, hiring a nutritionist to help them, doing whatever it is that they need to do. And what happens too is that people don't discuss the side effects very often. If you have your gallbladder, you can get really sick and lose your gallbladder on one of these medications. And again, I advise people to check with their doctors and have their doctors go over it with them in detail. And even when you get on this medication, you're not going to lose the kind of weight that you're seeing, I'm seeing in chats and also on other social media apps as well, where people have lost, I don't know, 140 pounds, 190 pounds, 85 pounds. That's not going to happen overnight. If you're in the lucky group where it does happen, it's not going to happen overnight. If you're in the lucky group, it's possible to lose 50 pounds in 2 or 3 months, but because our metabolisms, and there's so many things about us as individuals, it really depends on genes and metabolism and a whole lot of things in terms of how much you're going to lose within a 6-month time span. So I don't want people to get the idea that any of these drugs designed, prescription drugs designed for diabetes, those who have diabetes too, all you have to do is go to your doctor, have a conversation with your doctor, and suddenly you're taking the O or the W or the M. If you're a celebrity, yes, that's possible. But if you're the average Jane or John or Sam, then that's not possible. In some countries, as a matter of fact, Belgium is one of them, Germany is another, the UK is heading in that direction, and so is France, in terms of banning doctors from prescribing these medications at all, because it's proven to be very difficult for those who actually need the medication to get, because you have so many people who, again, are trying to lose weight. They're trying to lose 15, 20 pounds. These are people with access to the best nutritionists, the best weight loss trainers in general, the best of everything. And you tend to read the results of, I don't know, I'm going to pick a reality show. I used to watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills quite a lot. And I think one of the housewives, maybe most of them, may be on this medication. I don't know. I'm thinking of one in particular who's been on the show since its inception. So I don't want to, allegedly, too, let me add that allegedly might be on this medication. Again, I don't know for sure. But that person, like many others, is seeking a quick fix, easily has the means to hire a chef to come in and cook different meals, easily has the means to hire a trainer to get in shape, but is taking medication from those who actually need it, and really can't blame the person. I have to blame the doctors who are very greedy for money, and clients who can pay like that. And so they're willing to prescribe them anything. But I just want to make this point clear that weight loss is a process. It's a long process, and it is a permanent process if you're deeply serious about it, and it requires a permanent change. So while in the short term, you may see results from being on the O, the M, or the W, long term, what happens when you stop taking this medication? Well, your studies show that you're going to regain the weight, and then some. You have to commit to a lifestyle change. That means you have to move more. You absolutely have to move more. Um, you have to commit to changing your diet. And I don't even like to use the word diet, but you have to commit to changing your diet permanently. Yes, you can maybe have a cheat day once or twice a month, but long term, the long term strategy, if you have one for weight loss, it's just something from personal experience again. And what I'm suggesting is that more movement. If once you get your metabolism to move more, and this is difficult as you age, but more movement and tracking the carbs. I know that I actually am still in this program. I'm no longer a diabetic. I no longer have to take pills for that, but there are other things that are genetic, and I will have to take medication for that. But getting back to what I was saying about this being a lifestyle change, you absolutely have to commit to changing your relationship with food, how you see it. I personally was never a person who saw food as comfort. It was an ends to a mean. You have to eat to keep from getting sick. So that's how I saw it. But and I wasn't always what I term as el gordo. But as I got older, less movement, I couldn't eat the things that I had eaten when I was 18, when I was 10, and really moving about like that. And so it was a slow creep, and it didn't happen overnight. But ultimately, it ended up being a situation where I did develop diabetes too. I did develop some other conditions. I was shopping in the plus size. I still have some of my plus size clothing as a reminder. I don't have a funhouse mirror. I have an actual mirror as a reminder. So again, I just wanted to make this quick live. And every time I say I'm going to do something really quickly, it ends up being a lot longer. But there isn't a magical injection or a magical pill for weight loss. You do have to put in the work. Sorry, you can tell it's late. You do have to put in the work. And I think a lot of times people are looking for a quick fix, and that works for the short term. But as you think about things long term, you should always have long term goals, long term strategies. And ultimately, what's going to work for you in the long term is certainly patience. And this is the other thing, everybody's body is very different, and your tolerance level is very different. So there are always going to be different outcomes. I have a really, really good friend who was on the O, and she was on it for over a year, and total weight loss was 10 pounds. And she's about 6'1", maybe 6'1" or 6'2". I'm pretty tall myself. So she's taking something else now. But she started to experience a lot of problems with the O, especially stomach problems. And so you have to, again, go over this with your doctor in depth and make sure it's something that you're, committed to doing, because you're not always going to be on the medication itself. And some people get on it and the results are immediate, but I think it's disingenuous to lead anybody into thinking that this is something that was achieved. I wouldn't do it, and I would tell you, this is the point of the live, that it's a commitment, and it took years, more than a few, to really see the results. You could see them. I could see them probably within the first 5 or 6 months, but it takes a long time. So that is all I wanted to say about this. Just want people to be very informed about weight loss, and I also want people to be incredibly realistic about it as well, because I notice that it's a topic that keeps coming up in the sector when we're not talking about other things, or I'm not talking about those things anyway. And people are looking for the panacea. And O, M, and W, and I'm sure there are several more missing, but those are the 3 main ones I know of for weight loss. If you're a diabetic, those aren't considered the panacea. Lifestyle change, more movement, a lot more movement, and committed to changing your diet and the way you think about food. And these are things that a doctor would tell you, a nutritionist would tell you. These are things that the professionals will tell you. So, take it in, what you hear in chats, what you read in chats, what you hear on panels and so forth. Take that all in, but also remember that you're an individual, and so the results are going to vary on that. And make sure that you are very informed and not with Google and not with me giving you advice or other people giving you advice. It's a conversation to have with your personal doctor. But anyway, I have said all I'm going to say. Yes, this is a new Avi for right now. It certainly reflects, I was going to say I hope it reflects, but it reflects. I'm not going to put up a before picture, but this is the result now. So, and that's all I'll say on that. So, anyway, I hope that you have a good Saturday and a good Sunday. And that's it for now.